Whew. All right, it's the evening. It's evening, it's not any warmer. And this email is going to be a little bit of a different flavor. It's only going to be one of them. One thing that I hope people are learning here is that voices need to be heard. And sometimes a voice is going to come up that really needs to be heard. Even though I think sometimes some communities, these particular voices that I'm going to share today have, I don't know, it's a very tough topic. It's a very tough topic. Everybody's going to have different opinions. Some people are going to care, some people aren't. Some people have probably heard the word residential school too many times due to mainstream media and the government, but they do not hear the actual stories. They just hear the residential schools and the apparent horrors that went on there, and you know the government's going to officially say sorry and all this other stuff. Now, I've made some new friends this year, and one woman was taken away, and she was put in one of these. I don't even know what I'm going to call it, a concentration camp, and I was invited to her home to listen to her story and see how she shared her story as they brought in there was a meeting going on with a couple of new counselors that were going to be counseling people. I'll bite my lip on my comments on that too. But anyway, it really hit home for me. And I think I went steelhead fishing the next day, and I was choked right up driving the 50 some odd kilometers to go fishing for the day. I was just overwhelmed at what this person had gone through, yet to see the kindness and the love in her eyes was amazing to me. I even shared with her, I said, I don't know how you do it, because if it was me that went through what I just heard, I would probably still be hunting down the bloodline of the people that did that to me, and I wouldn't stop until it was complete. But that's just me. So, I have great respect for this lady and more, and she's asked me to share her story, and I'm going to. So, many of you will not want to hear it. Many of you may want to turn it off. But just remember, this little baby girl couldn't turn off the story. She couldn't make it go away. All right? She endured it. It wasn't her fault. She had no choice in it. And I do not think the stories are being shared accurately enough. But anyway, I'm going to share her story. And then I don't know what to say. I'm going to share her story. So please, if you would, remember that the little girl sharing this story, just remember this, she didn't get to turn the story off. She didn't get to click it off. All right? She wasn't able to make this story go away. She had to live it from the beginning to the end, no matter what, with no escape, and still have to deal with the aftermath today. But anyway, enough of me babbling. I'm going to share the story, and I would ask if you could please possibly show some respect, some support, and listen to this story in completion. All right? Here we go. Now again, it baffles me how someone can still have so much love in her heart after enduring what she has. I don't think I could do it myself. Now here we go. Listen to this. Mom sends her love. Please keep her name private. Hello, Steve and Sarah. It must be a good thing and a little concerning to be back home. So much to do. You're coming back to the happy and unhappy, the calm people and the hurting, and mean people texting/emailing you. I wish it was nice to be in this world. I guess you have to make room in your psyche and should push it all aside and go in or sit down in the forest to feel its peace. Welcome home. I'll apologize now for being one of the sad and depressed ones. Oh, don't ever do that. I'm writing this letter to you because I am disturbed to my inner soul and need to express myself. I don't know if you'll want to read this to your fellow roundtable of knowledge listeners. Some would think it's not appropriate, but it's my truth, thoughts, feelings, and opinions. I remember you saying that you were considering having a day of residential school experiences read out on your channel. I'm not sure if you intend on doing this or if you still intend on doing this. You have done a few of them on your channel in the past. They are heartbreaking experiences. They made us realize that they cost us a lot of soul sickness and dysfunction in whole communities, families, and personal relationships. We also lost our spirituality, culture, families, and language. Recently, I attended a meeting where our people were discussing our personal experiences and what we were thinking and feeling about the ground-penetrating radar that is taking place at the Port Alberni Indian Residential School site. Many people spoke out about their personal experiences and about missing community and our family members. I was so devastated. I felt that nothing seemed to be planned for the future concerning the findings. Maybe they haven't planned that far ahead, I don't know. No one said anything about this. When I spoke out, I felt I got no answer and we were going nowhere with it. I spoke out because I was upset and hurt when I said the things I'm about to write to you about. I ask, quote, "Where are our politicians, our leaders and warriors? Why does there seem to be no plan for after the ground-penetrating radar findings are revealed?" My reason for asking these questions is because I have 3 happenings concerning the missing children. Number 1, experience. My bed in the residential school dormitory was situated in the position that I could look out the window at the rooftop of the principal residence, Mount Arrowsmith, and the Sumas River. When I looked down, I could see the principal's back door that led to the baseball field. 2 girls come out of the principal's back door. It was 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. One of them was carrying something like you would carry a baby. It was also wrapped in some kind of material like you would wrap a baby in a baby blanket. I won't use the real names. Jessie carried the wrapped up thing and Jane held her hand on it as they went to the rose garden at the side of the principal's residence. They were both crying hysterically. They dug a hole and buried it. I hope it was a cat or a dog. That school was beyond evil and should have had an exorcism done on it. Just my opinion. Number 2, experience. I was playing in the residential school playroom, which was in the front basement of the school. We lost track of time and didn't realize that it was past our bedtime. I'm a curious person and always have many questions. I open a cubbyhole door that leads to underneath the principal's residence. The light shone in on the bare ground, and I saw what appeared to be a perfectly round white rock. I tried to convince the other 2 girls that I was playing with to go under and get the rock. I was around 10 years old, and so was my friend. The other girl was my cousin. She was 12. They both said no because it was too dark and spooky for them, so I went in. What I thought was a rock was actually a tiny human skull, and it had no lower jaw or teeth. We were all shocked and didn't know what to do. I was about to put it back, and while we were whispering about it, we were suddenly interrupted by our supervisor screaming obscenities at us. She grabbed the skull from me and hit me with a closed fist. I fell to the floor. She continued to slap the others. I never saw or knew what happened to that skull again. Number 3, experience. My hereditary chief come over to visit my mom, which he often did on the reservation. He would have tea and spend time with us. I was a little older than 16 years old. On this day, he sat and had my mom write a grocery list for him. It would be sent to Port Alberni to the store and be filled out, then sent down to the remote post office by the ferry that still does the mail and supplies to remote areas even to this day. While my mom did his list, I was wondering why he didn't write his own list. I guess the question showed on my face because he told me his story. He had told me many stories, but this one was extremely sad and heartbreaking. I was shocked and disturbed for a long time after and continued to be disturbed even to this day. He said he went to AIRS, Port Alberni Indian Residential School, at a very young age and that he never learned how to read or write while he was there. He continued to tell me his experience of working in the fields and barn. He said at this particular time their principal came in to inspect their work. He seemed satisfied with their progress and handed my chief a pitchfork, and he was told to clean the dirty hay out of the stalls. Then he left. Soon a friend from a small town came into the barn and told my chief that it was not proper for a chief to be doing that kind of work. So he took the pitchfork and did the work for him. He never told me his friend's name. My chief said he sat down and chatted with his friend while he worked. The principal of the school returned, saw the other child doing the work, and became very irate. He grabbed the pitchfork from his friend while yelling obscenities and stabbed the little boy to death. He stabbed him in the chest. My chief said that he ran for his life and stayed hidden until he felt safe enough to come out. My chief said he never ever saw his friend again in all of his life. He said they were both 9 or 10 years old. I'm telling you this because I think I went a little out of line at the ground penetrating radar meeting. I asked who was responsible for these murders and why can't the government and churches be held accountable? Our babies died. They died of many causes. They had no one to hold them or to tell them they are loved. No one to say goodbye to them. No one to look into their eyes to support or comfort them. They were lonely, heartbroken, sad, alone, and terrified. They were only babies and underage children. Some of them were born to 12-year-olds and a little older. There were children having children conceived by rape. Some of these babies never held by their young mothers. They never saw them again. Their families never notified of their birth or death. There was no ceremony or a grieving for these children. There were no rituals. There was no one to tell them that their ancestors were waiting to receive them. They were put into the ground like they were animal remains. There was no reverence or respect. There was no one to honor or respect them. No one said prayers for them. When I held this little skull in my hands, I felt the loneliness, the sorrow, and the grief in it. I still feel it today. I feel the government and churches should do DNA tests and send the remains home to families so they can be buried with ceremonies and rituals so that our people can have a sense of rest and peace. Maybe the spirits of our little ones can finally go home to our Creator. I'm so choked up with despair at the disrespect, the dishonor, and the uncaring evil that happened to our young. Thank you, Steve, for a place to express this without fear of repercussions or fear of retaliation. Please don't use my name. I don't mind if you read this on your channel. You know why I ask you to not use my name. I love you, and April and I send you our love. And I love you guys too. And there you go. And just so all you know, that is a very, very condensed, shortened version of the story that I heard firsthand from this fine lady who was there. It's a nasty, nasty thing. I'm probably not the correct person to comment on these sort of things because I don't do well in that department, I don't think. I tend to let her rip, so to speak. I did catch a video online the other day of some greasy Catholic Church cardinal or some damn thing speaking to a large group of people, absolutely denouncing the truth that's being shared over here of what they did to these children. These people, they're evil sons of bitches. And the government that did this is still going today. It wasn't that long ago this went down. And just so all of you know, I believe it was today's Trudeau's father, who at that time as well made it law that if you didn't submit your children to these concentration camps, which were called residential schools, then you would go to jail. That's what they did. So, that's the same government today that did this and don't seem to be too upset about it. The same government today that has made the majority of our population do some nasty things to ourselves as well, right? So anyway, shared. I'm sure there's a whole pile of love and prayers are going to go out to you, the sharer of this email, And I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say to make things better. I can share this story with all of you word for word, and I can assure you that so much is left out. It was absolutely the details that I was told and shown through the artwork, some artwork as well, and just mind-boggling. It's absolutely mind-boggling from what I heard. It possibly made the Nazi concentration camps look like a frickin' playground compared to what went on for real. And I heard it firsthand from who it was done to. So there, you all need to know this truth. This lady needs to be heard. I hope this helps. I hope me sharing your words helps in some way. And at least you will know that this is a safe place for you, and there's going to be a lot of people here supporting you and backing you up and being concerned, and hopefully helping to pursue some sort of justice, something, right? So there you go. There you go. The story of the residential schools in our country. I think it went down in states too, did it not? But it's amazing. I don't know, I should probably just bite my lip. I'll bite my lip. I'm going to bite my lip and leave it at that. And maybe I will be asked to share more another time, and I will. So there you go. If you watch this to its end, thank you. And please send some warm, kind thoughts, love, prayers, whatever you got, and send it to this woman and the rest of the people that had to go through this and are still going through it today. All right. There you go. I'll be back tomorrow.